Hello and welcome to today's video. My name is ArbieG and I'm joined today by Denchurion, aka Alistair. How you doing today, buddy?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. Well, excited to come back for another series of the sprint races.
Yeah,
I've been enjoying these so far.
Yeah,
and
Gr.4 Sprint races.
Let's get to my third race, round.
Yeah, third round of 6 of the Gr.4 Sprint series right here. As you can see, we're at a Coyote driving park, I think that's pronounced. I'm not going to pronounce the last part of it because I don't want to embarrass myself. And we're just booting up the first race here, so we've got 3 races today. And we normally do this all live stream, but unfortunately my child was being a little turd, so we couldn't do it on the night. So here we are, a few days after, with the replay system that GT Sport kindly provides. Unfortunately, we're not going to have any of the time deltas or anything on the left. I'm not going to be able to bring any replays or anything like that, but it's still good to have a little look through the race and see what happened. Got Will leading us out today, someone relatively new to the community, I think. Racing a few times.
My first race I've seen him in, so I'll be excited to see what he can pull out the bag. But looking down the list, the rest seem to be fairly familiar names.
The usual suspects.
Yeah, so I can already see it's going to be a good lineup with Lancaster, we've got Mohammed, Simo, so it's going to be elites, possibly Legion somewhere in the back.
No, Legion's not taking part today, unfortunately, so we don't have a Legion today, but we do have the usual suspect. Will run himself a little bit wide, actually making his car, making a little jump there. You see the little hoppy his car doing? Quite impressive as it comes through. So we're actually at Coat Park, and another little jump there. I don't know if that's the replay system, sometimes can be a little bit sketchy. We've seen cars jump quite. Let's just have a quick look back through, see what's going on. We've had Simo move up 5th position. I think he's moved up anyway. I don't remember seeing him 5th before, so apologies if he was. But we've got Simo in the back there. We've got a nice pack coming here. We've got this downhill section here of this track, which I absolutely hate. You have to hit this bit perfectly. You've got this downhill where you get loads of speed, coming yourself far left-hand side. Get through here. He actually slides his way through here as he's driving through. And he's actually didn't get a great exit speed on there. He's got Mohammed
pushing up,
coming up the inside in his BMW, and obviously Will in the Megane. Got Lancaster just behind them, with Oscar Zero right up behind him. But we're going to stay on board with Will and Mohammed. Nice little battle up here for first place. Looks like Mohammed's going to keep this. This downhill section is quite nice as well. You can get through here flat out. So we'll be on board with Mohammed. You can see Will there, rear view mirror, nice and flat out down through the downhill section.
Hits the grass a bit in the rear view mirror as well, drop back a bit. We've seen Mohammed able to hold the back, or basically chase out quite well, and be a good follower. And I think in the last race of last week, he did prove himself a good first candidate. So let's see how he holds up at the front. I've never really seen him have to defend too much. Because last week he was given the win almost by an unfortunate mistake. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he can defend. We've seen him attack, and he's great at attacking and biding his time for that right move. So it'll be interesting to see how he holds.
We've also got Oliveira here. Remember him last week? He won the first race last week. Had a really good race. Unfortunately, found it hard to struggle through to get up through the pack after the reverse grid, and it was actually quite hard in general because I think a lot of people struggled to get up through that pack last week. But just going to have a little look through the pack at the minute, see how everyone's doing. We've got Brett and Lango here, 9th and 10th. Pretty tight pack all around, but you can see a few areas starting to splitting off. We're making a few little packs. We've got a little mid pack here. We've got a pack here at the back between Arbie, Fraser just leading out front, and as I said, Oliveira followed by Elsie behind him, and just behind him we've got Beaver Boy as well. So a nice little fight there at the back. Still really close here at the front with Lancaster, Will, Mohammed, and also Oscar as well hanging in there, and Simo a little bit behind that with Elite doing what Elite does, which is extremely fast paced, but who knows when he's going to spin off. It's looking a really good race so far. As you can see, we've only got 6 laps, so it is a sprint, so we're going to see a lot of movement, a lot of people making moves, probably a lot quicker than what they normally would. Will taking us inside line still with Lancaster in the Corvette behind him, and we've got Oscar Zero in the Hyundai. A crash happening there behind us. Unfortunately, we missed that one. Looked like quite a bad one there actually. If we saw that in the back, Seth looks like he's the main victim of that, and looks like there's somebody else as well. But unfortunately, we missed that one. But that was looked like quite a bad one. Let's see them drop all the way back to the back of the pack. So really unfortunate for those guys there. And looks like must have been Elite as well caught up in that one. I called it, only a matter of time, I suppose. Couldn't see who was actually, whether there was anyone at fault there or just one of those unfortunate incidents. Mohammed still leaving out at the front though, with everyone else. Still got a really tight pack here with these lot here. Fraser on the inside of Oliveira at the moment. Drop back with these two, have a look, see what's going on. Oliveira getting probably a better exit though, so he might be able to come back. Coming down through the downhill section, not going to look to overtake here surely. Oliveira, be very, very dangerous place to give it a go. Want to come through here single file and try and get a better exit, and he got a nice long straight proceeding, which he's done exactly that. Nice play by Oliveira there, beautiful overtake, and gets himself in front of Fraser. It's very, very tight at the pack here. Got Will right up behind Mohammed still within a head's width.
The top four seem to be pulling away, and I don't know how Simo does it, but it almost seems that every race I see him in, he's in a world of his own.
Yeah.
No matter what position he's in, he's normally sitting in a nice little gap somewhere.
Definitely. So let's go back with this exciting mid to rear pack, because I think there's some really good racing going on back here. I don't want to miss any of it. Arbie leading out this mid pack here in 9th position with Oliveira bearing down behind him. And Oliveira looks like he might be trying to close that gap even further up to Arbie.
Arbie needs to work off that penalty, the 0.7. So I think either he's going to try and slow down, holding up the rest of the drivers behind him, so he can work down that penalty whilst also keeping his position. But with the likes of Oliveira, he's going to take his opportunities to pass. Will
running a really good race still, up there with the top three. Langston still holding in there as well in the Corvette.
I think Oscar's starting to slip down at fourth, and almost joined Simo in that little pack at the back. He's in a nice position here, no pressure on him at all. There's a huge gap between him and Simo, and then between Simo and the rest of the pack, so he's got a bit of a free race course to have a bit of fun.
Just going to skip forward to these chaps here. Beaver Boy with a little penalty over his head. Might be able to find some areas in the track to be able to grind that down. Some braking zones he can hit a little bit earlier without having to sacrifice a bit of his speed. And looks like Mohammed's starting to pull away a little bit of the gap up top. It looks like this is Mohammed's race to lose now, with Langston right up behind Will. So Will wanting to really now looking like he's in a fight for second place unless Mohammed does something really, really disastrous. A fantastic race going on here. Looks like we've got about 2 laps left as they come down to the straight. So this is actually a reverse version of this track. So normally you do this track the other way around.
Interesting.
So I've done this both way rounds, and the reverse version is quite fun of it. Oliveira on the inside of Arbie there did really well to avoid contact, and still looks like he's got the speed to get past him, but Arbie's got that inside line, so I think Arbie's going to hold 9th position, comes out to the wide part of the track, and looks like he's done well there.
Yeah, that was some good shepherding by Arbie. Kind of pushed himself right on that racing line to the outside of the track, which almost forces Oliveira to hold wider, so he can just guarantee that inside. So that was some clever driving there from Arbie.
Yeah, it's on the line driving, because there's a line between, you know, squeezing out someone a little bit and just forcing them to where you want them on the track, and then obviously not giving people room. I think that was really well done, as you said, by Arbie. Just that line between, he was dancing on that line between not affording enough room and being very strategical where he's putting his car, and I think it errs more on the strategical side. We've still got this little scrap going on here between Brett and Lango, 7-8 Platis. Brett looking like he's holding out pretty well there, as we've got about a lap and a half of the race left.
It seems to be working for those two. They're pulling away from that rear pack, so whatever battle they've got on at 7th and 8th is working well. So it'll be interesting to see if they can close that gap up to top now.
Oliveira leading out this pack now. Arbie just sitting in behind him with about half a second penalty, and then behind that we've got Fraser followed by Beaver Boy, then Seth, then Elite. I assume behind that is Elsie. So really nice little bit of racing going on here at the back. Probably the closest area on the races, and now we're coming around to everyone coming into their last lap. So we'll just keep an eye on things, and then we'll go through as people come through the finish line. Let's go and have a look at that front patch, the fight for second place. Will's still leading that out with a half-second penalty. He's got to scratch that down before the end of the race. find an opportunity. I didn't actually run this one myself, so I don't know what. There are some tracks that are really easy to grind down penalties without losing much space, or there's ones where you don't get an inch. I'm not sure which one this is, but it looks like it's one of those ones that you don't get much of an inch really to grind down penalties without having to sacrifice your pace.
Yeah, it's like people are holding on to their penalties, and ArbieG's only really cut down, I think, 0.3 for the entirety of the race. So it's one of those where they're going to find it difficult to find any time. Elite's got 1.5, I think.
That's not looking good for Elite there. He's going to have to wind that back, or he's going to find himself in last position. Although we'll see him at the top of the grid come for the next race, as we're doing reverse grid after this. So be interesting to see how that would pan out if we do see Elite leading out in the next race. Seth running really wide there, and also someone in the background there, I think it was Elsie running wide as well. So not great exits for them. Need to try and hold that together going for that chicane, but we know how hard that chicane could be. So here we come now to the end of the race. We're going to stick with these three just coming around the last corner, then we'll give Mohammed his due by seeing him over the line. But we've got quite a close battle here. Will still with that half-second penalty. He hasn't ground that down, so I don't think he's going to be able to hold that second place. I think that's going to switch over. Mohammed securing his first place. Will winding down. Obviously, you see he had to drop down to third place. We've got Simo over the line as well. Tom and Brett just coming over now. We've got Lango, Olivier. A lot of hokey pokey going on back there. Don't know if that's the right racing term, but I'm using it.
Will be now.
Oh, close racing there, but Beavers might have had that penalty over his head there, and that was a very, very close race overall. So that's the standings from that race. That saw Mohammed in first, then it was Langster, then it was Will, Oscar, Simo, Tom, Brett, Lango, Olivier in 9th, Fraser in 10th, Arbie in 11th, Seth in 12th, Elite coming out in 13th, Beaver Boy in 14th, and Elsie in 15th. So what are your thoughts about that race, Al? Enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. It was very, very consistent from those front runners. They came out, and I think the only difference really was that penalty from Will to drop him down into third. But from the outset, I mean, Mohammed took the lead quite early and held on to it very well.
Yeah.
I reckon the about top half, maybe up until about Brett and Lango, they were kind of very consistent, and it was that bottom group that was fighting. So it's going to be interesting now to see the reverse race, and see if they can fight their way up the pack whilst that chaos is now at the front.
Well, I think we're going to get a bit of a closer race. I think this race is normally a little bit longer than the first race. I think they added in a couple of laps to give those real back runners a chance to build a bit of the gaps back.
Yeah, these second races, we won't be able to see it too much this time because of the replay, but the lap times are actually slower on average than the first one.
Yeah. Because
you have the slower racers at the front who are kind of almost slowing down the rest of the pack, which keep it nice and condensed in a great race. But yeah, these tend to be a bit slower off the pace than the other two.
So we've got Elsie leading us out today. Rolling starts, as you can see.
I mean, we've seen Beaver Boy in this position before, and he did incredibly well. So let's keep an eye on him and see how he can hold.
Definitely.
And Elsie did do well the last time they were up front in one of these reverse races. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah. So we're doing 10 laps this time, so a little bit longer on this race. Again, just affording those back runners a chance to actually get up there, and also it's a good chance for these people who are leading out at this time to try and hold on and see if they can bring up the defensive guard, or even just try and work amongst themselves to leave the guys at the back to fight each other. Because as soon as those guys at the back start fighting each other, that's when it starts getting really ugly. Elsie looks like he gets away a good start. Beaver Boy not so great himself, find himself already with Elite up on him, must have had a bad exit. Almost a bit of contact there, but well avoided. Elite had to pull out of that one, and that's actually afforded Seth to come up on him now. So that's the thing when you make a move on people. If you commit to something and don't go through with it, you have to pull out. And as soon as you pull out, you're off the pace, and that's when you're getting caught up with people behind you. So that's why these first lap moves are risky. Obviously, there's a lot to be gained, but you never win a race. In the first lap. So I normally sort of err on the side caution. Happy to concede a position or two, then work it back as people spread out. As Seth runs himself wide there, and comes back on a little bit dangerously there, just sort of coming back on the track, and a lot of people are going to have to avoid him. I'm not sure where else he could have come back onto the track, quite honestly. We're going to stay with this pack here, absolute carnage back here, with Brett, Seth on the inside of him, looking to reclaim some of the ground he's lost, and Simo just behind him. Give maybe a little shunt there into the barrier. Nothing too...
Small bit of contact.
Yeah, nothing too frisky, but definitely worth noting. Got a backpack here as well. A lot going on. We're on board with Lancaster at the minute, who's just behind Will. These guys all got to work together, use their pace to get up through that pack rather than spending too much time running back. So Olivier, unfortunately, run himself wide and finds himself falling back there. And we've got a couple of side-by-sides going up here. Will alongside with Oscar and Lancaster alongside with Mohammed. Will taking that inside line. Oscar probably slightly ahead, but Will getting that pass done really nicely. Getting through. Is Oscar going to be able to get back on the cutback? Doesn't look like it, so he's established himself in that position. Back up the top, we've still got LZ holding out really well in top position with Elite barrelling down on him. So Elite wanting to cement himself in this race probably with you know, with the pace he's got. He'll probably want to get in a good result, because bless him, every time I see him, he's got that pace, but he just seems to fall away.
So one or two mistakes that hit him off.
So just on board, we'll jump on board. First person view with Seth going through the chicane. Just being a bit cautious there, making sure he doesn't power drives into the back of other people. Really well done by him there. Just keeping it nice and neat and clean, staying in the race. Will running wide there, finds himself dropping off a little bit. And we'll go on board with Arbie and Lango. Lango trying to move that move up on Arbie, but didn't quite get it. They're all both up on Beaver Boy as well. Elite has actually made the move up on Elsie and now finds himself as our race leader. Must have got a really good exit out of the chicane, made it count going up to that sweeping right-hander as they come round now to what is the last turn, which is another sweeping right-hander to the home straight. Looking back at this, got a lot going on here. You can see really condensed race at the moment. A lot of action going on. Would have been nice to do this one live.
This will suit the front two, Elite and LZ. As Beaver Boy, we've proven as a great defensive driver. So having him sit with the main pack means that there's going to be a lot of fighting just to try and get clear of this group, which gives the top two a bit more time to.
Lango and Seth found himself cleared. Brett's trying to get around on the outside. Beaver Boy catching a bit of grass on the inside there. Simo in the mix there as well. Brett just sitting in that slipstream, bump drafting through. And like we said, we've got such a condensed pack here. Going to stick with this for a little bit because it's fun. It's fun to see. Lancaster taking this inside line through here on Beaver Boy. Is he going to get through? You want to all get into a single file going through the chicane. Don't want to be side by side going through the chicane. Definitely not as they come through to the downhill section now. Let's make sure everyone gets through nice and cleanly. As got Mohammed still up behind Lancaster. Doesn't look like these guys are making moves on each other in terms of the top runners, especially if unless there's a big mistake. So it's using each other's pace.
Yeah, it's still early on in the race, but I mean, Mohammed's done well just to get himself up to 8th from right at the back of the pack. So I think he's just going to try and work up a few more paces, get him in a good position for that last race that we saw last week. He worked himself almost halfway through the pack and then waited for the last race, worked himself up another half and ended up at the front. So we know kind of what he likes to do. So he doesn't. I don't think he'll mind sitting in 7th at the moment to just work his way up a bit.
Back at top, Elite trying to make first position his. Let's hope he can keep it together. I really want to see. Oh, we've had a spin out at the back there. Didn't quite catch that. I just saw it on the map as I go through every single car I've ever made. And Arbie unfortunately sees himself tailing off a little bit. He's going to have to try and hope someone else has a similar accident in order to find himself back up there a little bit. But there's still 6 laps left as anything can happen, but if I was him I'd be trying to race against myself now. See if I can put in some good laps. We'll go back to this carnage of this mid to late pack. We'll just have a little look, see what's going on here. We've got Will on board with it at the minute, still sitting up behind Mohammed. We've got Beaver Boy in front of him. And this is what's doing the top pack so many favours, is just this absolute, condensed pack, making it really difficult for anyone to escape it, really. You're in the middle of that, you either got to try, you got people attacking you, got, to attack the person in front of you. There's a lot going on. We'll skip forward a few positions, move up into on board with Beaver Boy, and probably going to go forward probably a little bit more with Simo, who's just on the inside of Brett at the moment, taking the inside line on this. Not the ideal line, but he's going to have the track position to take 4th. Brett trying to keep speed up on the outside, doing pretty well with that. Lancaster sitting behind, just waiting for his moment as well. Top 3 relatively unchanged from where we were. Brett getting in front there really well. Bit of side by side there with Lancaster and Simo. Lancaster having to drop back a little bit. Simo keeping that position, and now Beaver Boy and Mohammed get in front of Lancaster, and Lancaster had a bit of an unfortunate one there. Saw someone run one ride out the side of my peripherals there, Al. I don't know if you caught who that was.
No, I didn't see who was skipping around. I'm trying to, make sure we're not missing anything on the odd leaderboard.
Yeah, a lot going on in here, isn't there? We've got Tom coming up on the inside of Oscar Zero. Mohammed finds himself dropping back really far there. Taking a little bit of side by side with Fraser coming through that corner there. And a lot of really good racing here. Still got Elite leading out here. Got himself a 1.2 seconds pen with Elsie. Actually still sitting up on him quite nicely. So must have made a mistake and found himself now under threat, especially with that pen he's got to try and grind down at some point.
I mean, yeah, it's a good tactic from Elsie just to sit in that little pocket and not try and take on Elite, because Elite's strength is his speed and almost his aggressive driving, but it's also his weakness.
If I was racing behind Elite, I wish I never have done, but if I was racing behind Elite, I wouldn't try and overtake him. I'd just try and race close to him, see if it would put him off.
Yeah, and then almost wait for him to make a mistake or get a 1.2 second penalty, which if Elsie can just sit in that pocket means he's taken first by proxy. So it's smart driving by Elsie not to try and push too hard, because if you try and race Elite at Elite's game, you're gonna end up either like him or worse off.
So we've got a scrap here for 9th place between Oscar Zero, Tom and Mohammed. I feel like we haven't watched Tom so much. We're going to stay on board with Tom for a bit. Don't think I even said anything about Tom so far. So yeah, we're on board with Tom, who's leading out this pack. You can see there's a couple of areas of the race dividing up a little bit now. Not so much as we were in the last race, so we're in the 5th. Remember, obviously we had 6 laps last time, and how divided the packs were by this point. Really far apart. Looks like a scrap here for 2nd place now, as Lango's found himself caught up to Elsie. And Elsie doesn't look like he's pushing too hard to defend, which is, again, with the pace, with a little bit of side by side there. Again, nothing too bad. And looks like Elsie's conceding that one, just dropping back again. Got this mid pack here, really trying to scrap through to get up to these top guys. Simo, little pen over his shoulder with Lancaster behind him with the same situation, followed by Will in the McGann, and behind that Seth. So yeah, it's been a fun race so far.
Yeah, it's stretched out and then it's condensed back up again. It's been quite an accordion race.
Ooh, I like that. The accordion race out.
I'll give you that one for free.
Thanks.
It's what you get with me. You get some unorthodox comments, but they make sense. They make sense if you think about them.
We're not really sports commentators, are we? I don't think we ever have been at all.
I think we're just academics.
Exactly.
I studied up on the accordion before this race. But yeah, it's making some interesting running. Now seconds up for grabs for anyone. Where we a couple of laps ago, you would have said, okay, yeah, Elite and Elsie have got this wrapped up, but. I think that slip from Elite slowed down Elsie slightly and allowed the others to catch up.
Very well. It looks like there's a lot of close racing here. Someone trying to find them way just to break themselves off. That's what everyone's trying to do. There's
a lot of penalties too.
Yeah, a lot of pens going over the shoulder. I assume a lot of them are track limit penalties, people sort of running wide. Seth with quite a big one there with almost 2-second penalty. He's carrying. Have to find some time to grind that down. We've got another tight pack at the top here with Oliveira, Oscar and Fraser. We know Oscar and Oliveira certainly have that pace. Fraser's very good on his day as well. I've had a few races against Fraser. Very good racer. Interested to see how he progresses through this.
He's definitely either end of the loaf of bread. He's either right at the top or he's right at the bottom. I've never seen Fraser sit in that middle pack, but he's a fantastic driver.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed racing. Nice chap as well. Oscar Zero again. Not much changes there. Fraser running himself a little wide, but still holding it together. So we've got 2 relatively tight packs with the scrap for 2nd place. Really, that could be one between 2nd and 9th. Really, although it did spread out a little bit there. A few of these guys in this really tight pack here. A bit more fighting. found themselves tailing off a little bit from this front pack, and looks like we've got Elite really trying to cement that first place. Got a nice gap up from himself and these guys, with Lango in second. Again, even he's trying to make that position his own. He's got Brett behind him. Brett's got good pace, so he's going to have to really try and push himself. Lango to try and make this one his, as they come down now with what is 3 laps remaining of this race. Once they come over this line, we'll drop back a little bit more, just see where everyone's at and what everyone's doing. Again, good battle from the penalty bros here. Conga line of penalties for those guys. Another little scrap here, you know, the one we were watching before with Fraser looking up on the inside. Looks like he was looking up the inside of Oscar there, but ultimately don't think he's going to make that move. We'll jump on board and just see if he does. I think he has actually made that move. He's on along side by side, but I think Oscar's got that favourable track position. He actually comes on the outside there, trying to use the width of the track to make sure he gets the exit speed so Fraser can't take him on the next corner. Good awareness to know that he had the room to be able to do that without, you know, smashing into Fraser. We'll skip forward. Again, this tight pack here, still really up for grabs this race, in terms of the positions around this mid pack and mid to top pack.
So Lancaster's done well to slowly eke out his penalty. I mean,
yeah.
it must be it's under 0.1 of a second.
Yeah.
But he's worked it down, I think, again, like a 0.4 or something. So he's done well to keep in contact with everyone whilst working that down. Yeah. So good driving from him in that regard.
Agreed. Looks like we've got a bit of closeness. Again, quite hard to find who it is. It's again Fraser and Oliveira. Oliveira moved up on Fraser, going on the outside, and it looks like he's got the pace on him to be able to pull away a little bit. And Fraser's going to have to sit in that slip and see if he can get pulled along by Oliveira and see if he can keep himself up with this pack. It looks like Arbie is unfortunately being lapped after his bad slip. He must have had a few bad laps, not really putting his heart into it anymore. So people just going past him whilst he lets them go past. And Elite ground on his penalty a little bit, but still with a nice gap up top. It would be really good to see Elite win this race. I think I was saying that last week. I was kind of cheering for Elite in the back of my head, hoping that he'd get to the end of a race and snatch himself a win, because I think he needs it.
Yeah, classic commentator's curse. I mean, we were talking him up last race, and he was having a fantastic one, and then had a couple of unfortunate slips. So I think this one he's really focusing on. You can just see by the rate he grinds down his penalties.
So you can see
quite a gap.
This development now that these previous race front runners, you know, Will especially has worked himself really well for this pack, and now finds himself up in third place. You remember Will finished in third place last race after spending most of the race in second place and had to concede to Lancaster on the penalty, and he now finds it up amongst Lango. So can he try and move up to second place and even up to first with what is 1.5 laps left of this race? We'll see. Sorry?
I was just going to say, done great from Will. Haven't, again, like I said earlier, haven't seen much from him in the race, but this has shown he's got quite a good fight and is very comfortable fighting through those positions.
No, absolutely, definitely. He's done really well to work himself up through this pack, and let's see if he can make it count. Lango catching a bit of the turf there, but holding it together. Might get himself a track penalty for that one. As you can see, half second just lapped on top of him. Elite still in sight as well for Will, so Will could be looking at the win here as well if we come around to last lap, and Elite still got that penalty lingering over his shoulder. Just have a look and see what's happening with the guys behind us. We've got Brett kind of in a quite nice little cushion here at fourth place. Really could make this his if he holds it on this lap. Lancaster, as you said, done well to work himself through, now up in fifth. Just done that move on Simo and get up in front of him. He's been behind him for most of the race. And a little bit of argy-bargy there, a little bit of chain knocks going through. We've got this little pack here again. Fraser finding himself in a lot of fights, especially with this Oliveira. Doesn't get a great line through there at all.
Oh no, that was.
And yeah, he's going to have to drop back. He might even end up losing the position to Tom as well. Not a great one there for Fraser. And Tom not quite having enough to be able to get through. But let's go back up to these guys now. Will sitting up in second place.
Also nicked himself a penalty.
Nicked himself half back, and so they're all on the same footing now. All these guys with their pens. The only one isn't is Brett. Brett going to be able to make this this count if he can hold up amongst these guys. If these guys cross over the line with those pins over the shot, it will be at least 1 second penalty, so they need to grind them down before they go over that line.
I mean, at least on well, he's got down 0.7 of a second on his penalty, which at the end of the day could actually hold him onto first with the gap that's closed up, especially since Will and Lango both have 0.5, 0.4 seconds.
Tom and Fraser at the back here as well. Close race going between these. It'll be good to see how that unfolds. And we've got another close one, I think, for 5th position between Langster and Mohammed, who are really pushing each other. Actually, looks like Mohammed's going to get that done as well. But let's go on board and see who takes this race. It's going to be a win for Elite. Hopefully, he's got more penalty. Is he going to drop back? Yes, he's dropped back. I think it's going to be a win for Brett, who comes through with no penalty. And then it goes down to... let's just keep on board with people as they come through now. And we'll actually bring up the standings as Oliviera comes through with Tom.
I mean, it must have been on the last corner where Elite picked up an extra 0.5 second penalty, which almost knocks it. Could have knocked him down to 3rd.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how it would have kept him on 1st, 2nd, but definitely kept him out the winnings.
So one hell of a race there, and a bit of a cluster at the end there to try and keep an eye on what was going on with the penalties being served and people moving around. But this is our confirmed positions at the end of that race. So we had Brett finishing out with the win, so congrats Brett there. Will running a blinder, finishing out in 2nd. Elite coming in 3rd place, and lucky for him, I really wanted him to win that. As much as I'm happy for Brett and stuff, I really wanted Elite to win that. He needed this, bro. Lango coming out in 4th. We've got Mohammed doing another great race in 5th. Langster as well doing really good, but unfortunately losing out to Mohammed on that last turn. Finishes in 6th. Then we've got Simo, then Seth, then Elsie with a great result at 9th. We've got Oscar in 10th, Olivia in 11th, Tom in 12th, Fraser in 13th, Beaver Boy 14th, and Arbie 15th. So thoughts on that race overall? Well,
I mean, yeah, it was great driving. Brett almost came out of nowhere. He seemed to hide in the bushes and then sprung on us. I mean, you can sneak a car in a bush, you just have to paint it green. But yeah, I didn't even mention his name throughout the entire race. Yeah, he won it.
Yeah, well.
So I've got to just put that down to great driving, always keeping himself in the race, keeping himself out of trouble, and that's what won it. The lack of penalties, with a great race from Will to pull himself up from 13th all the way up to 2nd, and Mohammed, steady climber as he always is, up to 5th. Elite, again, his great driving spoke for itself, but it was his errors. That last second penalty could have put him down maybe 1-2 places. It's hard to tell without the timings where it put him, but it's a great race shot by Brett.
No, agreed.
I assume, because I just didn't mention him at all that race.
No, I felt, like I said, he's what's referred to in the industry as a sneaky little sausage. I think that's the official term that they use.
That is, yeah.
So we're coming into the last race now. So this one's not a reverse grid. This is actually just a straight up grid based on the result of that first race. So you can see Brett's leading us out with this one. Will be followed by Will and then by Elite. So a little bit more normality probably to this one, not so condensed, but still a little bit more, a little bit of compaction. Is that all? I don't think that's an actual word, but I'm using it. In different parts of the track. So let's see how it pans out as Brett revs the hell out of his engine, by the sounds of it, or someone is. I don't think it is Brett because I can't see anything going up. But so
I mean, if I was Mohammed, I'd be licking my proverbial car lips at this prospect, because he's the one who likes to sit in these positions and slowly climb up. So expect a steady climb from Mohammed in this race.
So we're off with Brett, as I said, leading us out, coming through turn 1. Nice tight left-hander, hairpin. As people come through now, keep an eye on the exit as folk come through, and that's the wrong button, so we'll not keep an eye on everyone. And we're on board now with Elite, and looks like Brett's already tapered off a tiny bit, conceded a little bit of ground to Will. Will's also contention for this race. You saw how well he did last race. I think if he gets in his swing, he's certainly a good candidate winner. There's a spin out by our great friend Elite. Unfortunately, see him drop back to the back of the grid. That's again heartbreak city for Elite there. and he's going to start going the opposite direction. Oh no, I thought he started driving the opposite direction there. I thought
I was in the same boat.
Yeah, I thought he was going the wrong way, but no, he's going to try and see what he can do to get himself back into this race. Still got an 8-lap race this one, so a little bit shorter than the last one and a little bit longer than the first one out. Good race here for first. Looks like Will has taken that position away from Brett, and it's really his to win. Mohammed's found himself up as well in 4th position, sat up behind Lango. He's going to want to make this move probably relatively early. Doesn't want to get let Will and Brett break away. And Lango holding in there. And I forgot to turn off my notifications, so we get to see that. Production values are terrible, I'll tell you what.
It's gone downhill, it really has.
We've got Oscar Zero here leading this little pack here. Tour Riviera running himself a little bit wide there. Oscar holding it till. We've got Elsie right in his slip as well, so looking to make that move as he can. Just in front we've got Seth, followed by Simo just behind him. Seth again holding out through, with Simo just sitting behind, looking like he's waiting for his opportunity. Mohammed and Lango look like they're almost side by side go through there, but it looks like Lango managed to hold it. Still got Mohammed sat right up behind him, going to make another move up here on the inside. Is he going to be able to get this position? As he makes
seems to have held it, yeah.
Yeah, held it well. Lango probably afforded him a little bit too much room there. Find himself losing a bit of pace and ultimately having to come off. As Mohammed now really wants to make this race his own if he can try and push up and catch up to Will. I don't think Will's going to be so easy to pass. We've got Beaver Boy, Fraser just in front of him. Fraser already nicked himself a little bit of a pen, catches himself there, and he's going to be coming off the pace, unfortunately. Caught a little bit of the inside curb by the looks of it, of that turn. Good scrap here still between Brett and Will. If these two can keep it up, it's going to afford Mohammed a chance to catch up. The more these two scrap, the tighter they're going to get up. If I was Brett personally, I wouldn't be trying to overtake. I'd be trying to use each other to try and pull away and have a fight, you know, towards the end of the race for first place. But Mohammed doing well to hold his car together there. Had a little wibble, and I mean it when I say a wibble, because I think that's a good word.
That is. It's not quite a wobble, but it's enough to cause you a small bit of panic. Yeah. So therefore
more of a wibble. Yeah.
I agree. It's a good use. Good use of wibble.
And Will's still holding it, taking a wide line through there. So probably not getting the ideal exit, but still holding on really, really well. Have a look at these guys as they come through now.
It seems to be fairly nicely spread out. The contention of the last race has evened itself up. We've got just a couple of fights here and there. Fraser's picked up another bit of a penalty, by the looks of things.
The penalty city for Fraser's not going his way this race. Still got Mohammed trying to grind back on these two and sort of make a top 3 as opposed to a top 2.
He's slowly closing down that gap. It's very slightly, but he's going to be up there towards the end of the race.
Oscar Zero and Oliveira coming through here. Oliveira, he ran a really, really good race. Remember the first race last week? He was like really untouchable in that first race. And,
yeah, he was. I think it was like he's been in the second half almost of the pack almost all of this round. So
it looks like Brett's possibly making a move up here. Got Mohammed also involved. Now,
can we check Mohammed's car for a magnet? Every time I see him, he is precisely following someone right up their rear.
But he is not giving up here. Mohammed wants this race, and he is
excellent driving from him.
Right up on Will here, seeing off Brett, and I think you're right with your prediction of Mohammed wanting to make this race his own.
I mean, I just went by exactly what happened last week. He came first in the first race, and then climbed up halfway through the pack in the second race, and then climbed up the other half in the third race and took it. So that's the thing with Mohammed, he's consistent.
Yeah.
And it's what puts him basically at the top every single time, is you know what you get out of him, and if he starts in a certain place, he's going to finish in a certain place.
Yeah, definitely. No, I do enjoy watching him drive. He's a patient but very efficient.
Yeah. He may not have those out and out fastest laps, but yeah, you can always guarantee that he'll be out there.
Keep going now. Looks like
it seems to.
looks like Will was broken away a little bit from this pack and is now kind of quite similar to that race where before. We've got like a bit of a fight between a few people now for position. Lango still not completely out of his well. He's sort of held his own through all these 3 races as well, seeing himself in sort of the top half of each race, so it's really good to see from him. Lancaster just behind him, wanting to make this, wanting to probably from his point of view climb up a little bit more. Got Seth following up just behind him, right in that slip. He's probably going to try and make a move on him if we can get that pace right, but it looks like he didn't quite get it right for the S-bends there, as Lancaster has another wibble through there. And
it's a little 4th through 7th is going to be quite an interesting fight. Yeah, Lango, Lancaster, Simo, Seth. I mean, don't know too much about Seth, but the other 3 are great drivers.
Someone's been out there, unfortunately, he just caught. I saw that in the background there. That was Oliviera, just kind of ran wide and just clipped the wall, and it kind of forced his car around. So that's really unfortunate for him. Sees him drop back from where he was. Will really wanting to win by the looks of it, this one, as we've kind of got roughly about 4 laps left. Mohammed running himself a little bit wide there. Will find himself getting hurt in pace, and he's going to take this inside line, making sure that he at least holds on to this 2nd place. But I think as his Will's a race to lose now. And again, we'll just have a little look back through, see what everyone's doing at the moment. These little fights going on. So I've got a nice close pack here as well for 5th.
Yeah, Lango seems to have pulled away a bit. That 4th and joined up with that front pack, or 2nd and 3rd at the moment.
But you can see we've got quite a spread, with these guys here having their own little nice comfortable cushions either side.
Yeah, Oscar and Tom are just racing themselves, so is Elsie. It looks like at the back.
We've got 1 second gaps really between everyone else coming from here, so the racing's really happening at the top here. As you said, out with the top like 6 or so really in it. I think, like I said, Will's race to lose at the moment, but still plenty of laps left. Looked like there was a big penalty hand out there for Lango. I think it was a 1.5 second penalty, was that? Yeah. Yep. Don't know if it was half a second on top of a 1 second penalty, but that's quite a sizable penalty there. He's coming through now with Lancaster just behind him in his slip, and Seth just behind him as well. Lancaster looks like he's going up on the inside, he's going to make a move here. Don't know if Lango... Oh, he didn't purposely set off. I thought he purposely set off, but it looks like he's gone on the cutback, trying to get that exit speed. Lancaster in that favourable inside line, just still squeezing those guys out to the outside the track, but not so much to not afford them room. Lango not getting through there as nice as probably what he would have hoped, and has had to drop back behind Seth. And Lango... Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was just saying, because it looked like Simo just nicked in front of him there, which is great.
Oh, right, no, I didn't miss that one. Yeah, well done from Simo as well. So, again, looks like I don't think we're going to see many changes from these top 3, barring any big mistakes. Everyone seems quite happy in their positions, or...
I mean, Mohammed's closing. Every time we come back up to the front, he seems just that little bit closer to Will, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can get in striking range within these last 2 laps.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. So, yeah, Lancaster as well possibly might be able to move up on Brett if he can find the pace for the last couple of laps. As you guys might have noticed, we have no fuel or tyre wear as well, so you're just as fast on the first lap as you're on the last, so nothing to worry about there in terms of lap times tailing off or anything. And Mohammed, as you quite rightly called, has now pulled that up to Will, not quite in overtaking range yet, but not far away from it either.
This is going to be last interesting couple of laps as he now just sits behind, and it's where Mohammed wants to be. Lancaster running wide there.
Lancaster, yeah, he's holding. He's had to drop back, and unfortunately sees himself back in 6th position. So it's now up to Seth now to lead out that pack and see if they can pull it up to those top 3 and grab themselves onto the podium. Mohammed and Will still holding out with just under 2 laps to go now. It'd be great to see Will win. I think he's made a real good account of his section there. Account of himself as he runs himself a purple section there, so definitely keeping that pace nice and high.
He did pull it away a bit from Mohammed coming into that start of the 7th lap. They were right up there. It was interesting just to watch Simo, who's just sitting behind people and other people are making mistakes around him, so he's climbing up without really having to do many overtakes.
Maybe Will's feeling the pressure of Mohammed here. He's really pushing up. Brett looks like he's run himself really wide. It's going to cost him in terms of pace. It's his Seth's opportunity. Looks like he's going to get to that next turn, but it's going to now really be a race for those lot for third now, and we've got a clear race now for first. So two real good races going to pop out of this, and it looks like we've also had someone drop back, and we've got a good race at the back here. Looks like the 10th position with LZ leading it out at the moment, followed by Beaver Boy and Oliveira, with Fraser behind them as well, but he's carrying a penalty, so interesting to see how that pans out. Mohammed now looking up on that inside, didn't quite have it, but he's now in that range, that danger range, a danger ranger. I kind of felt like that I wanted to say, but it doesn't make any sense, as he now sits up behind Mohammed sits up behind Will, taking that inside line, and he's going to get to that turn first, but obviously this means coming on to the next turn will be on the inside if he keeps the pace off, but he hasn't. Mohammed's now taken up that first place. Heartbreak City for Will, as it's going to be hard to get that position back, but Will's certainly not going to give up, and he's going to get in that slip and see if he can find another opportunity to get in front of Mohammed. Your prime opportunities are kind of leading up to, I think I saw a bit of a slide there, so might have been his opportunity there, but yeah, it's coming up to the sweeping right hander after the chicane and really the final turn at your two opportunities. Just looking back through the pack before we see this race out, got a nice little condensed pack here for 6th place. Looks like there's still a scrap, real tight scrap for 3rd place. Simo really wanting that as well, you can see that there. We've got another bit of a pack if we go a little bit further back, Dak. We've got again that fight for 10th place, which looks like Beaver Boys leading that out and made that his, and then another scrap between these two for 11th, and even further back we've got Arbie, Elite and LZ having their own little fight here, so we'll keep on board and see if we can keep an eye as much as we can. Mohammed looks like this is going to be Mohammed's race, who's, as you said, out runner blinding, looks like he knew exactly what he was doing and when to make his move. Seth leading out this pack here, and looks
Brett's
like
dipped from Timo there.
Yeah, didn't catch that. Good spot there, Al. And Seth coming through, looks like he's going to hold that first. We'll go on board and give Mohammed his due. Is this the second win for Mohammed tonight?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's
first
Mohammed, then Will, Seth, Brett and Simo. Close finish for these two between Oscar and Lancaster. Tom now coming over the line.
Good celebration, Tom.
And Fraser, Beaver Boy obviously before that, Elite coming through, and finally LZ. And that was the end of the 3rd race, so let's have a look at those results. So it did. So Mohammed, as we said, played an absolute blinder, doing really well to sort of make his move on that last lap and really hold on to 1st place and make that his. Will as well, all night has played an absolute blinder as well. He I think he's
podium every time, I think.
Yeah, a podium every time, so the only one who did manage that, so congratulations as well, really well won. Seth as well, come out of nowhere, grabbing and nabbing himself a podium. Brett finished off in 4th place, tailing off from where he started from, but still a very respectable result. Simo in 5th, leading out that pack that were fighting having that little scrap there. Then you had Lancaster, then Oscar, then Lango, Tom. Then Beaver Boy with a great result at 10th, Oliveira making a few mistakes, season at 11th, Elite. Again, that bad slip out we saw, season down in 12th, Arbie in 13th, Fraser in 14th, and LZ and in 15th place. So, what are your thoughts on that one, Hal? Did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, I mean, that was another great race, or another great round in general, so well done to all the races.
Yeah.
I think the 3rd one tends to be a bit more of a, you can figure out who's gonna win it by how it's set. But no, some great driving there from Seth to get himself up to 3rd. I think Simo fought really well to hang on. Brett, even though he did slip, but he did well in the 2nd race, so he could get himself up there, so it's done well.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, I mean, you can't go through the race without congratulating Mohammed again on just being consistent throughout the entire 3 races and deserved 2 wins. And again, well done to Will, podium in all 3 races, which, considering he starts from the back on that middle one, is impressive.
It was a great race, and obviously a great round altogether. I think we watched and I really enjoyed the 2nd race. I think that was really good fun to watch. It's quite hard to keep abreast of it all, but yeah, really good tight racing and a lot of clean racing, because if you saw people that tight in a public, lobby, it would be all over the place, but it's nice that people kept it as clean as it was with how crazy it was in that second race. So really good fun to watch. I imagine for the guys who were in it, really good fun to take part of, unless you're one of the ones who found yourself T-boned into the wall. But that is it for today's video. Thank you everyone so much for coming in and watching. Thank you Al as well for supporting us with the commentary. Really appreciate it, mate. And we will be back on hopefully Tuesday with a live stream of round 4. Are you going to be joining us, Al?
Hopefully, yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great stuff. So, yeah, we'll be back on Tuesday for the live stream of the next round, but that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe and all that other stuff that people on YouTube ask you to do. And if you want to join in with the race, the private races, just join the ART Discord server. Down below, they've got all the series and that listed out, kind of skaters. It kind of caters to everyone on any kind of school level, no matter sort of how slow or fast or where you are in terms of your racing. So feel free to join in and take part. There's plenty going on. So, but that's it for today's video. I've been me, you've been you, and I'll catch you guys really soon. Alright, cheers.